Welcome everyone. The hour being 7 p.m. on Wednesday, June 5th, 2024. The Tooele City Council is meeting in a business meeting being held at Tooele City Hall in the council chambers located at 90 North Main Street in Tooele, Utah. This is also being streamed on the Tooele City YouTube channel. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. If you'll please rise and repeat after me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Our second item is a roll call. Councilwoman Manzione.
Present.
Councilwoman Goches.
Present.
Councilman Hanson.
Present.
Councilman McCall.
Present.
I'm Councilman Brady. I'm also present. Move on to our third item, which is a public comment period. We invite the public to address the council. We ask that you state your name into the mic, you keep your comments to 3 minutes or less, and then you sign the paper over by Michelle and Loretta. The time is now the public's. Seeing no one come forward, I will close the public comment period, and we'll move on to Resolution 2024-47, a resolution of the Tooele City Council consenting to Mayor Wynn's appointment of Chanel Roth and Malcolm Walden to the Library Board of Directors, presented by Chase Randall, the Library Director.
Good evening, council members. I'm here today to appoint two new library board members to 3-year terms. When I was here about 6 months ago, we appointed 3 more members, and with these 2 new appointments, we'll now be fully staffed. The library board will be fully staffed. Myself and the current library board chair, Crystal Ford, we were able to interview 3 applicants, and these 2 were selected. We want and need board members who are engaged and care about the library, and I believe that these 2 definitely fit that bill. So the first one is Malcolm Walden, if he wants to stand. He has an extensive history of civic engagement and volunteer work. He has previously served on the library board for 12 years, including when the new library was built just a little bit ago. And he helped organize the human chain to transport the books from the old Carnegie Library to the new library. He has served as chairman of the Tooele City Arts Council and chairman of the Tooele County Senior Advisory Board. And then next, Chanel Roth. She wants to stand as well. She has a history of working with and using libraries extensively throughout her life and career. She previously has worked as a librarian's assistant in the special collections at the Merrill Library at Utah State University in Logan for several years. She also has many years of volunteer service as a 4-H club leader, classroom volunteer at Overlake Elementary, and many other volunteer jobs, including as a volunteer Cub Scout leader for 2 years. Thank you. And I would just like to recommend both of them and with the mayor's appointment. Thank you. Let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you. Any questions or comments?
They're great people.
Yes. I agree. All right, I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, make a motion we approve Resolution 2024-47, a resolution of Tooele City Council consenting to Mayor Wynn's appointment of Chanel Roth and Malcolm Walden to the Library Board of Directors.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilman McCall, a second from Councilwoman Goches. We'll take it to a vote. Councilman McCall.
Aye.
I'm sorry, I said Goches. Correction, it was Councilwoman Manzione who made the second. Okay. Councilman McCall.
Aye.
Councilman Hanson. Aye. Councilwoman Goches.
Aye.
Councilwoman Manzione.
Aye.
I'm Councilman Brady. I also vote aye. That passes 5-0. Item 5 is a library annual report presented by Chase Randall.
All right, let me just check if this is going to work. Yep, there we go. So this is the annual statistical report that is required according to city code for me to present to the mayor and the city council. Some of these statistics are spelled out in the code that I have to share these specific statistics, and then a bunch of others that I've added on so you guys can know where and what we're doing with the 4% of the city budget that we're allocated. First off, some of our inventory statistics. We do inventory every year. We call it Scansgiving because we do it right before Thanksgiving. So we just close the library for that whole week and scan every single item in the entire library. So that's why it does take several days, even with all the staff going full steam. So the number of items that we currently have in the physical collection as of the most recent inventory is we had 50,599 items. That's counting our books, movies, audiobooks on CD, and what we have are the Spark sets, which are kind of those different specialty items as well. Our number of electronic items on the Libby app, as of the last time that I checked last week, there are 406,165 different audiobooks and ebooks, magazines, etc., that you can access through the Libby app. That are owned by both our library, but then also through the partnership with the Beehive Library Consortium of the state and the Utah State Library. And this year we've recently added Canopy, which you can stream movies and TV shows just using your library card. And there are currently 32,907 movies and TV shows available for patrons to access. And of the physical items, we always have every year, there's items that just disappear. And this year we did have 124 items, which is actually less than previous years. So sometimes just they get taken, they didn't get checked out. There's lots of different reasons. They might have just fallen behind the shelf and we find it 2 years later. Sometimes that happens as well. Next, so some of our usage statistics for this fiscal year so far. So far in fiscal year 2024, we've had 12,342 visits a month, which averages out to about 475 a day coming into the library every single day. Wednesdays especially drag that average up because it's story time, so lots of families come in and bring in all their books as well to check in. As of about a week and a half ago, we have 12,327 active card holders. Of that, 734 of them are non-resident, so they live outside of Tooele City, and that's about 6% of the total. And that's awesome that we have that high amount because they pay the $30 fee a year, and that helps to pay for the library services. And that's actually up as well. When I had previously been in front of you for the previous library board member appointments, we had 697, so we're up almost 40 extra non-resident cards, so that's awesome. Or to put it another way, about 29% of Tooele City residents have a Tooele City library card, which I think is a fantastic statistic, especially when you account for the fact that of the 40,000 residents, quite a few are probably children and things like that. So. And if you also look at it another way, about 15% of Tooele County residents have a Tooele City library card. So we're having a good impact both on the city and on the county. Next, some of our budget and HR statistics from this last year that I thought I'd share with you. As of right now, we've filled 5 positions the last calendar year, including myself, I'm almost a year now at the library, started in June 12th. We filled 1 full-time library tech position, 2 part-time library techs, and 1 part-time program specialist. And actually, as of Monday, I would need to add another one because we just had an employee put in her 2 weeks. So we're going to be sad to miss her, but we're working on getting her replacement, and that'd be a part-time tech. And then also, according to Cami, this last time that we hired a library technician, we had a new city record of 201 applications for a single job. So that was blocked off several days to do nothing but review resumes and applications. Another thing, this year when I had the budget discussion with the mayor and with Shannon, I did not request any sort of budget increase this year, except for obviously whatever happens with the COLA adjustment and the benefits and things like that, where I don't have direct control over those things as much. And part of the reason that we're able to do that is this year I've been able to find about $16,573 in non-employee related cost savings. So I've been able to basically make good use of those funds and ensure that being spent as efficiently as possible. I have several other things lined up hopefully for this next fiscal year, but we'll see. Next year I'll tell you all about it. And just as one example of what those were, for example, we had a water cooler before where we were getting the water delivered in the big jugs. And I changed that to where we just have a water cooler that just plugs into our water. And that alone saved about $840 a year. Not a ton, but the little things add up really quickly. And to put it another way, that means we can now purchase about 42 extra books a year with that $840, or 12 Libby audiobooks a year. Those e-audiobooks are very expensive. Next, as far as our technology usage, in 2023, we had 19,195 uses of public computers or Wi-Fi in fiscal year 2023. And so far this year, assuming the trend stays the same, we're on track to have had 21,454 sessions, which is about a 10% increase. And of that 21,000, about 45% is from usage of the public computers. 42% of that is people utilizing just the Wi-Fi with their own devices. And then also we partner with UEN, the Utah Education Network, to also broadcast Wi-Fi to Veterans Memorial Park and at the Aquatic Center Park. And about 13% of those Wi-Fi sessions came from those parks. And then programs. So during our summer reading program last year, which the current summer reading program is going on right now, so make sure you're in there. We've got prizes coming out our ears that we want to give to the community, and make sure to get all the kids and even yourselves. You can come and get some cool prizes for reading or listening to audiobooks. That counts as reading as well. Last year we had 2,332,785 total minutes read, and we had 1,161 active participants that completed the whole thing. And obviously our programs team does great work with story time, tween and teen activities, young adult and adult programs, and we're working to continue to optimize those and improve the quality for the community. In fiscal year 2023, we had 408 programs, and we had about 14,700 people attend all of those different programs. Obviously, one of our biggest things is we want to ensure that the library is a place for everyone to come and feel welcome, and we listen to patron feedback when they offer it. And in May, I sent out an email survey to as many as we had on file for our patrons, and we got a lot of good responses. And here's a breakdown of the first question that was asked in the survey was, what do you like the most about the Tooele City Library? And you can see it's fascinating, almost an exact even split between those who said that the ebooks and downloading audiobooks were their favorite part versus those that talk about the physical items. And we had a small number say the computers, and then some say the programs. A couple people said the streaming app, and the something else was, those answers were assorted. Some were just like, it's a quiet place to work, or I just love that I can go and use the Wi-Fi. I had a couple that said that we should be a county library, not just a city library, and probably not gonna happen anytime soon. But lots of good feedback from the library patrons. And then on Google, currently the library has a 4.7 stars with 116 reviews. And I will also add that several of the more negative reviews also reference the fact that we're a city library, not a county library. So not too much we can do about that. And I just would like to highlight one patron in particular. The feedback that she gave us said, we love going to the library to foster a love of reading for our 4-year-old. She loves going to the library to do whatever scavenger hunt is going on and pick up new books to read. Every single person who works/volunteers at the library is so friendly and helpful. The library is always clean and organized. We also have enjoyed the various activities the library puts on. Thank you for all your hard work and dedication to make the library an amazing place. So I thought that was a great summation of what we try and accomplish at the Tooele City Library. Thank you. Any questions that you might have?
Great presentation. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Thank you all so much.
I'd just like
Thank
to say
you.
thank you. I get to be the representative to work with the library, and I love it. My mother was a bookmobile clerk for the bookmobile, but they house a library in Grantsville. She did that for 40 years. So I have a great love for books. Thank you for what you do.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Trace. We'll move on to item 6, which is a public hearing and motion on ordinance 2024-18, an ordinance of Tooele City reassigning the land use designation for approximately 16.7 acres of property located at approximately 55 West, 3100 North from medium-density residential to high-density residential, presented by Andrew Agard, Community Development Director.
Thank you, Council. Appreciate the opportunity to present this land use map amendment. Loretta, would you hit the quick share? Thank you. So this land use map amendment affects the property that is highlighted in red on the aerial photograph. It is located directly west of SR 36 and north of 3100 North, which is currently under construction. You've probably seen the construction going on there. The reason that I have a white square with the subject property listed is even though this land use amendment is involved in that large parcel, it only affects the parcel in white, or the section in white. The reason being is they haven't subdivided this property off from the overall piece yet. So what they're proposing is to amend the land use for Lot 101, which is the one pointed to by the red arrow, in order to make way for future development. That parcel, or that future parcel, is about 16 acres. The current land use designation of the property is MDR, which is medium density residential. The medium density residential designation permits the R17, R18, and R110 residential zoning districts. The applicant would like to change the designation to high-density residential, which would permit MR8, MR12, MR16, and MR20 zoning districts. And so the land use map would appear in this manner, with the orange being the HDR. The remaining area within the overall parcel currently would remain unchanged. So that is the request for the land use map amendment. This amendment is being made in order to facilitate the opportunity to rezone the property, which will be discussed in the next agenda item. The Planning Commission held a public hearing at the May 22nd, 2024 meeting and voted to recommend in favor of redesignating the property to high-density residential. So that's my report on this. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them for you.
Any questions or comments?
I'd just like to say that I watched the Planning Commission meeting, and it was very positive, and I appreciated the adjoining owners that came and spoke. There was a Don Ballard and a John Sorensen, and the Planning Commission weighed this out, and it will be a benefit to the community, and I liked their comments and questions that they asked.
Okay. This has a public hearing as part of it, so we will open the time up to the public. We ask that you state your name into the mic, you keep your comments to 3 minutes or less, and then you sign the paper by Michelle and Loretta. Time is now the public's. Seeing no one come forward, I will close the public hearing. And any other questions from the council or comments? Okay. I've talked about this a lot, but I do want this area to be part of the North Tooele Special Service District. Is it when it is rezoned from, is that when we can put a stipulation that it has to be part of the district? Or do we do that now as a?
Do it on either or both.
Okay. I would suggest that we make a stipulation that with this, it has to be annexed into the North Tooele Special Service District.
I'm in agreement with that.
Okay, anyone have any strong feelings against that?
I don't like the North Tooele annex.
That's all right, you don't have to like it.
I'm kidding. No, I don't have a problem with it.
Okay. All right. Someone want to make a motion, or do you?
No.
Okay, yeah, you're the developer, so if you have something that you want to add, I don't know, I thought you raised your hand. Yeah, you'd have to. Okay, yeah. Since you're the developer, we'll let you come talk to us.
All right, thank you, council members. Just one thought as it relates to the Special Servicing District. Our intent is to annex this into the Special Servicing District. We've been in lots of communication with them. We're working down that path. I just don't know if the zone change can be contingent upon that. I don't know if that's a legal issue or not. So I just raised that as it's our full intention to do that. I just don't know if the two can be linked as a request for the rezone, ultimately the rezone of the property. I don't know if there's any comment on that.
Sure. Well, it's my understanding that it can. You have near absolute discretion to approve land use map amendments and rezone amendments in and out of this area of property. If it were to be delayed to the subdivision process, then you would not have any discretion to condition at that point. You simply would have to the city staff would have to approve a subdivision application or site plan application that complies with city ordinance. So it's, if you're inclined to put a condition on it, it's now or never.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
and I
my
can-
only comment. I just wasn't sure
Yeah.
if those two things can be connected to one another, because
Yeah.
we frankly don't have any control over the special servicing district. If something were to come up and they say, oh, well, we can't come to an agreement, that was my only comment.
Yeah. I've sat in the meetings that we've met with your representatives, and
Yeah.
I've never heard anyone say anything against, like negative. There's never
Right.
been anything negative. The reason I want a stipulation is because we've had developers in the past who have said that they'll join the district, and then for whatever reason, they choose not to.
I see.
And to me, that it's very important that it's part of the district. I think if you go down to the north end of Tooele and you see the area that is part of the district, it looks different, it feels different.
No
and-
question.
And that's what we want on that end of town. So I'm not comfortable passing this without a stipulation that it is part of the district. So if any other council members don't want it as part of the district, then I will vote against it. So,
Okay, thank you.
yeah, Roger.
Perhaps a reassurance for Mr. Swain that the district itself does not have involvement in the decision of whether, let me put it differently. The decision of whether to annex property into the special service district is yours. So you're the approving body. It wouldn't be a district administrative board. Once property is annexed, at that point, the board would manage it, but they don't have legislative authority and they don't get to set policy. That's you, because you formed the district.
Okay, any other comments? Okay, I'll make a motion on this one. I make a motion that we approve ordinance 2024-18 with the stipulation that the applicant will join the North Tooele Special Service District.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. We'll take it to a vote. Councilwoman Manzio?
Aye.
Councilwoman Goches?
Aye.
Councilman Hanson?
It's not on, but I, yeah.
Councilman McCall?
Aye.
I'm Councilman Brady, and I also vote aye.
Chairman,
Yeah.
may I ask you to clarify something for the record? When you use the word stipulation, I understand you to mean a condition.
Yeah, a condition.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Our next item is a public hearing and motion on ordinance 2024-19, an ordinance of Tooele City reassigning the zoning for approximately 16.7 acres of property located at approximately 55 West, 3100 North from GC General Commercial to MR20 Multifamily Residential, presented by Andrew Agard, the Community Development Director.
Thank you, Council. So this is the follow-up application to the land use map amendment where we discuss the zoning that is proposed by the applicant. Currently, the subject property is zoned general commercial, which is a zone that does not allow residential activity other than accessory residential uses. So the use that the applicant is intent on doing on this property would not be permitted as it's currently zoned. They are requesting the property be rezoned to the MR20 zone, which is multifamily residential with allowing up to 20 dwelling units per acre. The remaining zoning in the parcel would be unamended at this time. I don't typically like to get into site plan discussions during a zoning map amendment. However, I think it is helpful for the council to see the applicant's intent for the property that is currently being considered for the zoning change. They are proposing some higher density apartment uses, and they believe the density for this development is about MR17. So it doesn't get all the way up to MR20, but they need the MR20 zoning designation in order to accomplish this. It has not been reviewed in regards to site plan standards and so forth, but this gives a pretty good idea of what their intent is for the property. And then there is this, another graphic. The apartments are located up on the upper side of the screen. You can see them there. And then there's some conceptual commercial layout for the properties closer to SR 36. The applicant did provide a video where there is fly through the apartments. If the council be interested in watching that, Loretta can fire that up for us. It's kind of cool.
Sure, let's watch it.
Watch it.
Somebody's going to have to sing during the video because there's no music in the background, and it's a little bit.
There, no, yeah.
Sounds like you
they need to have some
volunteered
musical
yourself.
theme to
I'm
it.
not
But it's a
gonna-
pretty video.
But somebody, the audience can join in.
Thanks, Loretta. This item went to the Planning Commission at the May 22nd meeting, and they voted to recommend in favor of the MR20 zone. If I should also put a plug in regards to our moderate income housing plan. If this does get rezoned to MR20, it would satisfy two of our strategies, which are mandated by the state. One of those being rezoning to densities, allowing higher or more moderate income housing, and also closer to major transportation corridors. So this would be very, very beneficial to our moderate income housing strategies as well. So, but that's what they're requesting. If the City Council has any thoughts or questions, I'd be happy to answer them for you.
All right, any questions or comments?
I just have a couple comments. One, I think this is a good place for apartments because it is near what's going to be a stoplight. I don't really like the moderate income housing plan because I think it's imposed by the state and we don't really have a ton of control over that. And I don't know of very many apartments that are moderate affordability in our community. I think the apartments that are built are always expensive, so I don't know that I agree with that, but I get what you're saying, that we have to do that. And I do think it's a good place for apartments. It makes me a little bit sad. We get all these presentations about cute apartments, look like houses, and would be better to look at, and what we get are the same old box apartments, but I guess they're cheaper to build.
So, right?
What's that?
No.
Oh, I thought you said something.
I think it's a good place, and I think that, I assume they're building apartments first because they're supporting the commercial that they want to bring with it, and commercial is what we need, so, thanks.
I've been kind of hesitant on this rezone, but after thinking about it, I do think it is a better location for apartments in some of the other areas we have in town because it is near that main road and it will be near commercial. I hate to rezone from general commercial to a high density, but I think at times it's appropriate, and I think this is one of the times that it is appropriate to do that, so. Any other questions, comments?
I wanted to
Roger.
respond to Councilwoman Manzione's comment. What you pointed out indicates the disconnect at the state legislature between the concepts of density and affordability.
Right.
So the policy built into the state statute that requires us to satisfy some of these density things isn't necessarily logical or sensical. So we're required to demonstrate compliance with certain aspects of the moderate income housing statute. Andrew and I have talked many times and wish that the state policies would connect affordability to policies that would result in affordability. But this is the direction the state has asked us to go, so.
Right. I agree, and I get that, but I figure we might as well say it.
And I second your words as well. We're in the reporting period right now, and it's a difficult report this year. So this really does come along at a really good time for us.
Awesome.
So
And then can we have the same condition on this, that it is part of the North Tooele Special Service District? Do I need to do that again?
Somebody does.
Yeah.
I would like the same condition. Is that a better word than stipulation? It's not as aggressive and, okay. But once again, I live in the North Tooele Special Service District. I'm on that board. It does make a big difference in that area of town, and anyone who goes down there, they don't realize what the district does and the amount of beauty that it brings to that area, and it will make a huge difference to have this as part of the district, so. Okay.
Chairman, I just want to take this moment to suggest that as we move forward with these properties and bringing them into the district, I want to encourage discussions about what the district standards are going to be so that when development happens, we have a standard ready for them to develop too. Because this kind of development, especially the commercial, than what we've seen before, and we probably need to talk with the landowners and developers and get a standard in place so they know what they're going to be building.
Yeah, that's great. Okay. This also has a public hearing, so we will open the time up to the public. We ask that you state your name into the mic, keep your comments to 3 minutes or less, and sign the paper by Michelle. Time is now the public's. Okay, seeing no one come forward, I will close the public hearing and turn the time back to the council. Any other discussion?
My only comment about the reassigning the zoning, which I know that we saw a little bit of the site, so I won't go into any of that, what we need in our city as far as that is, but reassigning the zoning, changing the general commercial, I'm glad that they're going to bring a commercial development because I never want to give up that opportunity to have the ability for commercial taxing. And so because they're going to offer that into the development, then that satisfies that requirement as far as I'm concerned. I know that the subject property isn't more on the inside and that there will be a commercial development, but that's important to our city and this, especially the corridor coming into the city. I also do have concerns about walkability, the community, hoping that there's going to be sufficient sidewalk and trail to get to school and keep people off the highway. I think that that's an important part of having a development that's somewhat isolated right now, but it will be wonderful to have a light there and a beautiful addition to our community. So thank you.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve ordinance 2024-19, an ordinance of Tooele City reassigning the zoning for approximately 16.7 acres of property located at approximately 55 West, 3100 North from GC General Commercial to MR20 Multifamily Residential, with the condition that they join the North Tooele City Special Service District. Did I get it right? North Tooele City.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion from Councilwoman Manzio and a second from Councilman Hanson. We'll take it to a vote. Councilman McCall?
Aye.
Councilman Hanson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Goches?
Aye.
Councilwoman Manzione?
Aye.
I'm Councilman Brady. I also vote aye. That passes 5-0. Item 8 is a state-funded grant previously funded by VOCA, Victims of Crime Act. This is presented by Valin Matson, the City Court Victim Advocate.
Thank you. Good evening. Yes, so I know I saw you guys not too long ago, so I just wanted to give a quick update because we're nearing the end of the grant cycle. It ends June 30th. And this past year, we've been funded by the state rather than VOCA, the federal funding, and so that's worked out really well. It's called the State Victim Services Funding, with tongue twister, so I have to read it. Yeah, it's gone really well. We've been able to get some extra funding for emergency funds to help victims with housing, gas, food, supplies needed for them to get to court, which has been really nice. And we've also been able to use it for some supplies that have been needed in the office, so that's worked out well. And we've already been approved. That's why I wanted to let you know we've been approved for next year's funding through the state as well, and that starts July 1st. And that will be for another year, and hopefully they'll continue after that. I think that's all. I just want to let you know that we have been approved, and we're going to be going forward for another year. Do you guys have any questions for me?
You'll do great work.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate all that you do.
Well, I love my job, so I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to item 9, which is ordinance 2024-16, an ordinance of Tooele City amending Tooele City Code Section 6-3-3 regarding service animal licensing fees, presented by Adrian Day, Police Chief.
Tooele City Code 6-3-3 exempts owners of service animals from having to pay the fee to license their animal. They have to come in, but they don't have to pay the fee. The Americans with Disability Act defines a service animal as a dog trained to perform a task. It does not require a professional to train it. It does not require documentation. You can't ask for proof of training. You can't ask for anything. Anybody can claim a service animal. I can't count how many hearings I've been in where a dog's done some horrible stuff to children where the owner claims it's a service animal. The ordinance in front of you is amended to change the exemption. If the owner claims the dog is a service dog, they must pay the licensing if it is deemed potentially dangerous. If you have an aggressive dog, part of the burden you must bear is paying the higher fee of having an aggressive dog in the city limits, with other restrictions such as keeping the dog away from the public. Before going forward with this, asking if you agree with this, the problem was bigger than I knew. Finance's software system does not allow them to put an amount of 0 in when somebody gets their license. This prevents them from documenting in the system who has a license if they've claimed service animal, and this is where we go to when we're fining somebody for not doing that. I want finance to just put 1, but the director seems to want to keep the records in order, so that won't work. So it's also been recommended by staff that we make it a smaller fee or take away this fee altogether. It is $10 to license a dog if it's fixed. If it is not fixed, it's $35. I would like to turn to the council to see how you want to proceed with this. Before doing so, I'd also like to add, I asked for the last 2 who claimed to have service animals that didn't have to pay this fee. The first one was a woman who owns 2 large dogs, and they're on the video camera. They went after the neighbor, got loose. She's on her own porch, and it bit her on the arm, one of the large dogs. The other one who claimed they have a service animal was their last address was at the homeless shelter, and they have since been kicked out, trespassed from there. Quite a few charges with intoxication, assault, and drug possession. So with that in mind, I'd like to know how you'd like to proceed.
So the question is, if a dog is potentially dangerous, they still have to pay the fee? Or is it,
The 633 is, they don't have, if you have a service animal, you don't have to pay a fee at all currently. And the one in front of you, the amended one in front of you is, well, they have to if it's potentially dangerous.
okay.
Now we're raising the question as a staff is, do we do away with it altogether or lower that fee to $1 to $5, whatever it may be, so they can put it in the finance system?
Well, I read through all the ADA stuff, which I appreciated the attachment, thank you. And
That is our
thank you.
city
And as I
attorney.
read through that, it doesn't just, because you have a service animal, it doesn't mean you can't pay a licensing fee. So I wondered why we didn't charge the $10 just, I mean, it's $10. I don't know why we wouldn't have a licensing fee even for service animals.
Yes, the law doesn't stop us from doing that fee, and we can have that, correct. Yeah, that is one of the recommendations from staff, is that we do away with that exemption altogether.
Because I was going to ask why we were even just doing it as presented in the packet, and why not just have the fee for everybody?
All service animals I have come in contact with are, we don't have any problems with them. And they're always trained, they're always fixed. We're talking $10.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I
agree.
think service
agree
animals are
with that.
great, but I don't know why they wouldn't have to be licensed like every other animal.
And I agree with that, too.
I do too.
To answer your question, Councilmember Manzione, this ordinance proposal is very narrow and targeted to address a narrow problem, but there is a broader policy issue that you've identified as why do we exempt any dogs at all, since it's such a low fee anyway. So you certainly could direct us to just remove the exemption and require them to, all dogs have the same licensing rules. They're not hard.
That's what I would be a proponent of.
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm fine with
Unless
that
you guys
too.
are against it. What do you think, Dave?
Chief Day, I just wondered, this just kind of talks about dogs and cats, but there are other, what people deem to be emotional support animals. So should we include all emotional support? Service
The
animals. I don't
ADA
know.
only defines a dog that does a specific task, so it doesn't
An
fit
emotional
as-
support animal is not a service animal
Correct, that's right.
unless
unless
it performs a task
performs-
under ADA, right?
for a disability. Yeah,
That could be for both.
But a service animal, you have to have like a certification. I don't know what it is, right? They don't have to?
They don't have to.
I thought a provider or someone has to sign off on these, or a medical, they just say it's a service animal.
doesn't even have to be professionally trained. You can train it yourself to perform the task, and that's left up to the dog owner themselves.
Interesting. I thought they had some kind of,
So if it
because
fit-
we've had
if it fetches your
problems
shoes, it's a service
where I
animal.
work, where we've asked them to provide proof that it's a service animal and versus emotional support, because we get that quite often, so I didn't realize that. that was-
It's tricky. The frequently asked questions materials in your packet indicates that you cannot ask what is the disability your animal is helping with, but you can ask what task is the animal helping you with, which will probably always identify the disability. But so there certainly are strict limits, but there are some things you can ask.
Regardless, I still think they should pay the fee. Yeah. Okay. So I don't know that, do we need a motion, since it's a whole different topic, right?
I can make a
You
motion.
can just,
I'll make a motion.
you can just instruct us to delete the fee exemption.
Okay. All right, I'll entertain a motion.
Okay, Mr. Chair, I move that we approve ordinance, approve ordinance 2024-16 regarding animal licenses fees by striking the exemption for service animals.
Second.
Does that make sense? Does that work?
Okay, we have a motion from Councilwoman Manzione and a second from Councilman McCall. We'll take it to a vote. Councilwoman Manzione?
Aye.
Councilwoman Goches?
Aye.
Councilman Hanson?
Aye.
Councilman McCall?
Aye.
I'm Councilman Brady. I also vote aye. That passes 5-0. Item 10 is ordinance 2024-17, an ordinance of Tooele City enacting Tooele City Code Section 10-2-8 regarding obstruction of streets and sidewalks, presented by Adrian Day, Police Chief.
We talked about this ordinance in the work meeting. It's highly recommended by the homeless services under the workforce services, so we can get our mitigation funding at $42,000. His intention is to protect the public on our high-volume roads, which are identified. I may have an old copy. I know our city attorney suggested 7th Street. I don't know if that's on your copy.
I think
Tooele Boulevard may be another one you want to consider. I'm not sure. That's split in two different places. It depends on what you see as high volume.
Seventh Street's on, it says 520 East, 7th Street in parentheses. But Tooele Boulevard is not.
We have that Tooele Boulevard in front of T-Tech, but it is also
Down north of Shetland Meadows.
in Shetland Meadows.
Yeah, down north, the north end of that, yeah.
We should add that.
I don't know, you got a bunch of roads on that, but they're not on here. Tooele Boulevard's not on here. 520 East is not, 520 East is on there.
Yeah.
Good job.
Right, as I mentioned in the work meeting, I may have missed some in the recommendation to you and invite you to look at that list and see if anything needs to be added, taken off. And Tooele Boulevard certainly is one of those streets.
I looked at it too and didn't think of that one.
Okay, any other streets?
We don't have 200 West. I don't see that on there.
And it's busy, at least
Yes.
by my house, they're all
Yeah,
headed to
it's busy.
Walmart.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah,
gonna
too.
get busier.
200 West probably should be on there, because people are standing there right now by Walmart. And that's still 200, if I'm not mistaken. Or does it change when it goes around the bend?
Would you want to restrict that to the north end of town or the whole 200 west to
I would do the north end of town.
400 south?
Probably starting right there about, what is it, 400?
You can Vine Street, go up to Vine Street and come north.
And come north, yeah.
Okay,
Is it easier to just say 200 West, though?
probably.
Probably.
Going all the way to 5.
Yeah,
Just say 200 West.
Not much fun.
yeah.
The south
Just say
end doesn't
200
have
I mean, the
But
West.
it's
problem
only 3
area
blocks, so-
is the north, but,
It's only 3 blocks, it's not, you're excluding.
yeah.
And there's actually 2 Tooele Boulevards,
Yeah,
because there's a Tooele Boulevard that is down there in that 200 West.
yeah.
That's where it starts.
And then the
yeah.
one by the
Yes.
education corridor.
Right.
Right, and the objective is for them to be connected. So it's the same road, just on disconnected segments at this point.
Okay, any other discussion? I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 2024-17, an ordinance of Tooele City enacting Tooele City Code Section 10-2-8 regarding obstruction of streets and sidewalks.
Do you want to add those 2 roads?
Oh, and include Vine, 200 West, I guess we weren't going to say Vine, but just include the road 200 West and also Tooele Boulevard into the list of prohibited roads. Is that okay?
Yeah.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion from Councilwoman Goches, a second from Councilman Hanson. We'll take it to a vote. Councilman McCall?
Aye.
Councilman Hanson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Goches?
Aye.
Councilwoman Manzione?
Aye.
I'm Councilman Brady, I also vote aye. That passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief. Item 11 is Resolution 2024-31, a resolution of the Tooele City Council renaming Tooele City's Downtown Alliance to Tooele City Historic Main Street Commission, presented by John Perez, the Economic Development Director.
Good evening, Council. I must say this is very much so needed. The Utah Main Street program accepted Tooele City as a designated Utah Main Street community. And just in the time I've been here, I've really seen kind of the identity crisis that really exists, if I may use that expression, because it's really very much so needed. And I must commend the mayor and the action she's taken in discussing with the appropriate parties. But it's very much so needed and recommended to delineate and kind of distinguish the Main Street program membership and the responsibilities. And even from a grant perspective, there are certain grants, federal, state, that only the city can apply for, not a nonprofit. So this really needs to be done, and the city has spent a considerable amount of money when it comes to the murals and the buffaloes, and credit needs to be given to the city, not a nonprofit. They did not do that. So it's our recommendation that it needs to be renamed to the Tooele City Historic Main Street Commission.
All right, any questions or comments?
What are the boundaries?
So it's 100 north to 100 south on Main Street, correct? Or Utah Avenue and 100 south?
Utah Avenue to 100 south. We do include not only the downtown area, Main Street, but Vine Street and connect Broadway, the Broadway area also. We have two main streets, Broadway and Main Street, so we want to include all of that.
Okay, if there's no other discussion, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve Resolution 2024-31, a resolution of the Tooele City Council renaming the Tooele City's Downtown Alliance to Tooele City Historic Main Street Commission, including, well, I don't have to define the roads, so just that.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion from Councilwoman Goches, a second from Councilwoman Manzione. We'll take it to a vote. Councilwoman Manzione?
Aye.
Councilwoman Goches?
Aye.
Councilman Hanson?
Aye.
Councilman McCall?
Aye.
I'm Councilman Brady. I also vote aye. That passes 5-0. Item 12 is Resolution 2024-44, a resolution of the Tooele City Council authorizing payment of fee in lieu of water rights conveyance for U-Haul moving and storage, presented by John Perez.
So I know we kind of went over this in the work meeting, but I did go upstairs in between and did review the site plan and answer your question. There's definitely no car wash. And then just to reiterate, the capital investment, $20.8 million, the expected taxable retail sales, $2 million, and then 2 full-time positions with remuneration packages, $50,000 to $55,000, part-time positions up to 4, 17 to 19 per hour. And as you guys just approved that rezoning with the condition of the North Tooele Special Services District, think about all those additional people in that particular proximate area to this that are going to need storage and moving supplies. So very much so, not needed now, but needed even more in the future.
Okay. Any other, we discussed this in our work meeting. Any other discussion or comments? I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, make a motion we approve Resolution 2024-44, a resolution of Tooele City Council authorizing payment of fee in lieu of water right conveyance for U-Haul moving and storage.
I'll second.
We have a motion from Councilman McCall, a second from Councilman Hanson. We'll take it to a vote. Councilman McCall?
Aye.
Councilman Hanson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Goches?
Aye.
Councilwoman Manzione?
Aye.
I'm Councilman Brady. I also vote aye. That passes 5-0. Thanks, John. Item 13 is Resolution 2024-45, a resolution of the Tooele City Council accepting for further consideration the annexation petition of Howard Schmidt, presented by Andrew Agard, the Community Development Director.
Thank you, Council. This is a follow-up to our work session today. This is a resolution of the City Council that would accept the Canyon Springs annexation petition. This is petition to annex 61 acres. It has been received and is on file with the Community Development Department. The annexation petition submittal is complete, and the resolution does not approve the annexation but accepts the petition for further discussion and consideration. It does not commit the city to the annexation. basically just gives you the chance to talk about it, negotiate, and consider it. So that's what the resolution is. If you have any questions, happy to answer them.
This was also discussed in our work meeting. Any questions or comments since then? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2024-45, a resolution of the Tooele City Council accepting for further consideration the annexation petition of Howard Schmidt.
I'll second.
We have a motion from Councilwoman Goches, a second from Councilman Hanson. We'll take it to a vote. Councilwoman Manzione.
Aye.
Councilwoman Goches.
Aye.
Councilman Hanson.
Aye.
Councilman McCall.
Aye.
I'm Councilman Brady. I also vote aye. That passes 5-0. Item 14 is condominium plat approval request for Douglas Orthopedics located at 2321 North, 400 East in the GC General Commercial Zone on 2.2 acres, presented by Andrew Agard.
Thank you, council. If I can get my aerial back. Thank you. So this condominium plat applies to the building on the property highlighted in yellow. That is, we all are familiar with that as the Tooele Orthopedics, also known as the Douglas Medical Office Building. This aerial view does not show his plans in regards to that building. He proposes and has received site plan approval to add two new wings to the north and to the south end of the building, and basically increasing the footprint of the building and provided 2 new tenant spaces. The property is zoned general commercial with some industrial service located to the east. And what this condominium plat does is it basically creates private interior spaces on those individual tenant spaces so that so Mr. Douglas can sell the space inside the building, and that can be privately owned for whichever business wants to locate there. Mr. Douglas will maintain the central suite, which is the portion of the building that has the hatch pattern through it. The plat basically denotes the private ownership of the spaces, as well as establishing some language in regards to landscaping, cross-access agreements, parking, and so forth. And then it also establishes the height of the space inside the building that will be privately owned. There is no changes proposed with this in regards to the land use or the property itself. It all has to do with just private ownership of space inside the building. Condominium plats are not subject to our revised subdivision ordinance, which is why the plat is here for the council. And I need you to give us your blessing, and we can get this going for them.
Okay, any questions or comments? I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the condominium plat approval request for Douglas Orthopedics located at 2321 North, 400 East in the GC General Commercial Zone on 2.2 acres.
Second. Oh, go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
All right, we have Councilwoman Manzione who made a motion, and then Councilman McCall with the second. We'll take it to a vote. Councilman McCall?
Aye.
Councilman Hanson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Goches?
Aye.
Councilwoman Manzione?
Aye.
I'm Councilman Brady. I also vote aye. That passes 5-0. Item 15 is Resolution 2024-46, a resolution of the Tooele City Council approving and ratifying an agreement with JUB Engineers for public improvement inspections, presented by Jamie Grandpree, the Public Works Director.
Good evening, Council. On this Resolution 2024-46, where you're asking to ratify this agreement with JUB, just a little bit of background on this. This is on the 3100 North development that Perry's is currently working on. In the settlement agreement, they did ask for third-party inspections, and they worked with JUB, and we worked with JUB on getting an agreement put together for those inspections. This did come to you as an email to get approval, as we need to get moving on this to get this into place, and now bringing it to you for ratification. And kind of just a brief introduction. If you want me to answer any questions, I can.
Okay, any questions or comments? I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve Resolution 2024-46, a resolution of Tooele City Council approving and ratifying agreement with JUB Engineers for public improvement inspections.
I'll second.
We We have a motion from Councilman Hanson, a second from Councilwoman Goches. We'll take it to a vote. Councilman McCall?
Aye.
Councilman Hanson?
Aye.
Councilwoman Goches?
Aye.
Councilwoman Manzione?
Aye.
I'm Councilman Brady. I also vote aye. That passes 5-0. Item 16 is Resolution 2024-50, a resolution of the Tooele City Council approving an agreement with Broken Arrow, Inc. for the 1000 North, 100 East intersection and roadway improvements presented by Jamie Grand Prix.
Okay, so this resolution, this is the third in the series for this traffic signal at 100 East and 1000 North. We brought to you the resolution or just the invoice for the traffic signal parts, and then a resolution for Cache Valley to do the work for the install of the traffic signal. This now is the 1000 North improvements that will need to be completed from the intersection of 100 East west, not quite to SR 36, but down to about where Starbucks driveway is. And so this is just some kind of road widening, some curb and gutter that needs to be installed, some storm drain improvements, and just some utility works that needs to be done that wouldn't be done with Cache Valley. And so we took this out to bid. We received 2 bids, one from England's and one from Broken Arrow. Broken Arrow came in as the low responsible bidder at $284,550.07 with a contingency of $14,000. And that's what I have. I can't answer any questions.
or
The
comments?
7 cents was really important.
Yeah,
Yeah, 7 cents.
makes a world of difference.
I think so.
Okay, I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion that we approve Resolution 2024-50, a resolution of Tooele City Council approving an agreement with Broken Arrow, Inc. for the 1000 North, 100 East intersection and roadway improvements.
I'll second.
We have a motion from Councilwoman Goches, a second from Councilwoman Manzione. We'll take it to a vote. Councilwoman Manzione?
Aye.
Councilwoman Goches?
Aye.
Councilman Hanson?
Aye.
Councilman McCall?
Aye.
I'm Councilman Brady. I also vote aye. That passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Item 17 is Resolution 2024-49, a resolution of the Tooele City Council approving an agreement with SFT Concrete LLC for the 2024 Tooele Valley Museum Sidewalk Project, presented by Darwin Cook, the Parks and Recreation Director.
Thank you, Council. The Resolution 2024-49 before you is a resolution for a contract to enter into an agreement with SFT Concrete for the installation of a sidewalk at the museum park or the museum facility. So our goal with this project is to add a little bit of access to the public to some of the facilities that are there. Most importantly, the Foreman building that's on site. Currently, by special invitation, we can make it accessible to some people, but not to the entire public. So what we'd really like to do is add the sidewalk to make more access to the park through the museum, through the grass, the pavilion, and then also to the Foreman's building. And kind of this is kind of the first part of enhancing the property. I firmly believe, as when I started this position, that we have a diamond in the rough there. I love the museum, and this is kind of just one of those next steps of improving the property and improving access to the public. So the sidewalk will connect, or I should say better connect, our train depot, the Foreman's building, and the pavilion that's on site, so that as we're working through this process right now of encouraging the public to come to this site more and to have more public there, that this kind of makes it a little more accessible. We did send this out, or we didn't do a formal bid on this, but we requested bids from contractors that we normally work with and that are currently doing concrete work for the city. We received 4 bids. And the lowest responsive bidder was SFT Concrete, who for the amount of $35,800. This will put all the concrete in place and then also return it back to, I guess it's existing state of the grass matching up with the concrete, and then just create this nice pathway. Some of you have participated in the activities that we are doing there, so we've been moving more, or not moving, but increasing the activities that we're having at the site just to get the public there. This will facilitate even more of those activities. So, any questions?
No questions. I think it's definitely needed. I've gone to some of the activities and I'll push my kid in a stroller and
Yeah, exactly.
trying to not
right
tip
through
them
the
over,
grass.
you know?
Yeah. This will give us. So you've been to those activities that I'm discussing, and this will give us almost like a booth space that you can have sidewalk to get through from booth to booth to booth to booth as we do those activities.
That's good. We had a little girl in a wheelchair that when I was
And-
there,
yep,
same
yeah.
thing. So.
Yep, so it'll give us the ADA access that we need to the, and I should clarify, when I say the Foreman building, the only access that we'll ever be able to gain at the Foreman's building is just the first floor. If any of you have been in that building, and if you'd like to go, please reach out, because we'd love to take you into it. The second floor is never going to be an option. It's just, it's not designed for, I mean, I guess if we decide to put an elevator in maybe, but it's just, if you've ever been on those steps, it's quite the adventure. So, but we have a lot of artifacts and a lot of pieces that are in the Foreman on the first floor that we'd really like to get the public access to so that they can see them.
Great. Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve Resolution 2024-49, a resolution of the Tooele City Council approving an agreement with SFIT or SFT Concrete LLC for the 2024 Tooele Valley Museum Sidewalk Project.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilman Hanson, a second from Councilman McCall. We'll take it to a vote. Councilman McCall.
Aye.
Councilman Hanson.
Aye.
Councilwoman Goches.
Aye.
Councilwoman Manzione.
Aye.
And Councilman Brady. I also vote aye.
Great,
That
thank you.
passes 5-0. Thanks, Darwin. Item 18 is Resolution 2024-48, a resolution of the Tooele City Council declaring surplus certain technology-related equipment and authorizing the city purchasing agent to dispose of surplus personal property, presented by Michelle Pitt, the city recorder.
Thank you. So we are asking that you declare surplus a list of technology-related equipment and other goods from the police department. There is an itemized list attached to your resolution, which includes old uniforms and coats, iPads, computer towers, laptops, phones, projectors, monitors, cameras, and holsters. And these items no longer have value to the police department, are not in evidence of a criminal prosecution, and are not lost or mislaid property in the possession of the police department. The police department would like to first offer the items citywide and then go out to outside agencies and then be able to dispose of what's left. So if you approve this resolution, then the items would be declared surplus and then they can start disposing of the items. Do you have any questions?
Oh, sorry. Any questions? Yeah. Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion we approve Resolution 2024-48, a resolution of Tooele City Council declaring surplus certain technology-related equipment and authorizing the city purchasing agent to dispose of surplus personal property, presented by Michelle.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilman McCall, a second from Councilwoman Manzione. We'll take it to a vote. Councilwoman Manzione.
Aye.
Councilwoman Goches.
Aye.
Councilman Hanson.
Aye.
Councilman McCall.
Aye.
I'm Councilman Brady. I also vote aye. That
Thank you.
passes 5-0. Item 19 is invoices and purchase orders presented by Michelle Pitt.
I just have one, and this is to Black & McDonald for the final billing for England Acres Trail lighting. And this is $70,267.66.
Okay, any questions or comments?
Expensive lighting. Important lighting.
There was quite a bit of lights,
Yeah,
though,
there is.
right? It's,
And they do look nice.
You do. Yeah.
and they work. They better work, right?
Is that word?
For that price, they better work. All right, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the invoices.
A second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. We'll take it to a vote. Councilwoman Manzione.
Aye.
Councilwoman Goches.
Aye.
Councilman Hanson.
Aye.
Councilman McCall.
Aye.
And Councilman Brady. I also vote aye. Passes
Thank you.
5-0. Thanks, Michelle. Item 20 is our minutes from May 15th, 2024 work meeting and the May 15th, 2024 business meeting. Any corrections? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion we approve the minutes as read.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. We'll take it to a vote. Councilman McCall?
Aye.
Councilman Hanson? Aye. Councilwoman Goches?
Aye.
Councilwoman Manzione?
Aye.
I'm Councilman Brady. I also vote aye. That passes 5-0. And item 21 is to adjourn at 8:09 PM.